Hi, I'm Paul, Head of Digital Workplace at Zenith. I've been now over 20 years specifically in the end user computing sector. My previous role was Global IT Director for local IT support with 250 support staff underneath me. My role now in Head of Digital Workplace is finding specific solutions and technologies right for our clients to help their effectiveness and efficiency.
Excellent. So I'm going to shift over to Paul from his experience. What are those challenges with end user procurement of technology today?
Okay, thanks, Mandy. Primary challenges I've seen over the years, definitely budget constraints and high upfront costs. Rapid technology advancement leading to technology obsolescence. Limited scalability, lack of flexibility, barriers to growth for the organization. End user productivity and satisfaction now has come to the top now due to the remote working and hybrid practices. Maintenance and support, again, increased security and compliance risk, especially now when we see every 4 seconds there's a new virus out there. And the life cycle managing now, the complexity around life cycle management.
Focus and shift that from IT architecture to what actually impacts the business for our viewers. What's top of mind?
One of the primary business impacts is the decrease in user productivity. When the end user struggles with technology issues, they face downtime or experience communication or collaboration challenges, their ability to perform tasks efficiently and effectively can be hampered. So this can lead to missed deadlines, delays in projects. High upfront costs also now can delay the procurement cycle.
Yeah.
That means increased burden onto the IT teams for allowing the increased support requirements. Also has an impact on the business, on their efficiency and capability to do business as well. Obsolete technology has always been a challenge and cannot be ignored. Technologies which are not fit for purpose or require frequent maintenance and support leads to additional expense. That's always been the case. Due to productivity losses, additional financial impacts, and wasted time and resources. Limited scalability and flexibility hinders the company's performance to adapt to changes markets. This was shown very highly when people were using Teams and Zooms during the hybrid, when everybody was working from home, when they didn't have maybe the right equipment, webcams or CPU or RAM performance to allow users to use that technology, affecting the performance and productivity levels for them to do their work and for the business.
So Paul, that must have quite a big impact on the RT teams themselves as well. You know, their burden's already heavy with so much transformation, so much change in their time. Well, you know, how does that affect those teams, and at what point does it start to really come in?
So yeah, of course, when that is happening, IT teams will now need to spend their resources around that, which distracts them from initiatives, especially from innovation. So if they're working with day-to-day issues, they're now not able to go in and implement the strategic requirements from the company.
So that has a hit on delayed projects, etc.
Like delayed projects, innovation, and the capacity.
Easy for you to say.
Capability of the company for their objectives.
Perfect.
A little bit further on that employee productivity loss, especially for those hybrid and remote workers.
Yeah, so we know over time issues will happen with the devices, specifically coming to the end of the term, third year onwards, the device starts to perform more slowly and there is more malfunctions on the device. So What that will show is when a user is working from home, frustrations will appear, which will also most probably affect the way that they are doing their work, hinder their performance levels. Because remote workers and hybrid workers rely so heavily on technology, any type of malfunction starts to cause a bigger wave effect in what they're doing. That also can hinder the way that line managers or heads of departments look at lost productivity, which may then give them, or may increase pressure on their own workers to meet those lost deadlines due to faulty equipment, which in its own right creates new sets of challenges with potential retention of staff.
Testimonials of technology as a service. Can you explain what interested Zenith in the joint venture and how it's going to help Zenith's clients?
Yeah, so thanks, Mandy. We've been in business, like I said, we've managed accounts over the years, but really the joint venture, we looked at the elements that we might be missing in bringing something new to the market space that we believe is going to be disruptive and going to help us drive that technology through. So although we've been doing this for 40 years, the elements that Vanquish can bring through to us actually allow us almost to start looking at this taking over the entire service element for end user compute devices. So rather than IT teams having to worry about it, be burdened by it, etc., together as a partnership, we really bring that capability that can take that pain either completely away, be a hybrid model of working with them, or only give some of the basic enhancements. But I'll let James talk through the service stack, but it's really adding that service piece on that allows us to take full ownership of end user compute devices for clients, given their IT teams the freedom and flexibility to really help transform with the technology stack moving on at a rapid pace.
So James, maybe tell us a bit about yourself first.
Yeah, perfect. Well, it's really exciting to be part of the joint venture with Mark and the wider team at Zenith. With a decade under our belts, we can join the Zenith team who've built a great business today, and I'm sure most of their clients really appreciate all the fantastic services they've done over the last 40 years for them and their teams and what they've seen. I think IT itself is ever evolving as we see technology becoming more and more of a demand in everyone's lives, and especially for businesses. A bit about Vanquish. I'm Cloud and Services Director. I ultimately underpin sales, vendor, distribution, what our clients are ultimately wanting to achieve on a day-to-day, the business drivers that IT has, and close those gaps and be an extension of those IT teams. Be it 10 at night and they've got a problem, or projects that are on the go. We do pretty much end-to-end solutions for businesses day in, day out globally, covering roughly 36 countries to date, small, medium and enterprise. And that's why I think the JV itself will form part of many successful years to come. Less pain for our clients, and hopefully those IT teams can sleep peacefully at night and know that we have them covered as a team, and make sure that they get the service that they need with the ever-changing needs for their businesses and driving IT forward.
Brilliant. Well, welcome. We've obviously got the right man to be with us today. So maybe just explain to us the service models and the components.
Sure. So it's broken down into 3 different aspects. In those 3 different aspects, businesses can consume those services individually if they wanted to pretty much take one package for the entire business, if that's what suits their business. Or what most of our clients do today is they underpin maybe a basic, essential and a blend of advanced, depending on the type of organization, their requirements nationally or internationally as a business, and what those individual end users are required to do in the business, and how essential they are to be online or have anything troubleshot from a work hour perspective, or possibly a 24/7. So how we see clients adopt that is a basic would be a basic package is normally for your everyday employee that's in the office or remote working, that has basic drivers of what they need to do from a business perspective, And that normally is endpoint management, discovery, and inventory management, remote support, basic protection from a security standpoint, and asset reporting and maintenance. Also, outside of any of the packages, before I go into the second and third tier, we can do pre-selecting, sourcing, etc., just in case that's not obvious, potentially, if that's what the client requires. We can then structure that in a financial lease model, outright purchase, and bolt on the service, depending on how their finance wrapper and purchasing model ideally works, CapEx or OpEx. And then, as well as that, outside of these services, we can add people on the ground if they have different offices internationally or locally in the UK. We can add break-fix components outside of this. We can be additional supporting or people coming on the ground and setting up that whole entire piece from people at home all the way through to their offices, human scale arms, screens, wraparound, USB hubs, making sure all the cabling's done correctly, in fire and safety, making sure that whole transition and the basic essential advanced package for that end user is implemented from start to finish. The essential package is pretty much your in-between, probably for middle to upper management in terms of a client perspective, people that are possibly traveling in and around the country or internationally, have a bit more critical if they are from a cost perspective back into the business or being out in any way, out of action. That's pretty much ties into the full infrastructure management, the asset management, the remote support in business hours, or they can put bolt-ons of out of business hours. Essential protection, security is key. Obviously, it's a never-ending concern for businesses and individuals today, but it would be essential, basic, global standard of essential package in security terms. Backup and disaster recovery should they have an outage, lose a machine, geolocation, tracking, etc. And all of this is included. This includes everything else in the basic package as well. And then we go on to the third and the Rolls Royce of the option, pretty much, which is the advanced package. That ties in everything that was in the previous two packages, as well as IT operation management, data security and protection, and includes a second degree hardened security option as well for a full wrapper, where they might have bespoke requirements, being possibly directors or executives using their VPNs around the world, etc., and those devices where they might have more of a day in, day out travel where they require the devices and that on-hand support at any given stage 24/7 throughout. So in these three packages, we technically are not trying to replace anyone in IT. We're trying to free up any time and costs that the business associates to those teams, so that they have everything as a standard golden image and how people are supported to get the maximum peace of mind out of their business and function in the best level and evolve with it. Refresh cycles, tracking assets, managing, making sure there's always stock of the certain peripherals and devices itself, and they're managed end to end.
And I think it's key, and part of the reason we really found what Vanquish could bring to the table so attractive is that we heard so many, and you heard earlier from Steve and Paul, this almost a cycle of pain that normally is associated with end user compute, and really it's limiting businesses' ability to get growth and to really put their IT teams in the forefront. And we can take that piece on, and like James says, it's not a replacement of, but an extension of those teams, giving that flexibility into that team, adding that extra resource when required, rather than businesses. And we had a case ourselves where we took this on, where we're looking at, we would have to hire another head to manage some of those basic tasks, but it allowed us not to do that and build a business case around that, because we could take a small section of that, those services that really made the impact.
And just to add that, where businesses are potentially looking at a head or a number of heads to manage this type of situation, because we do this as our bread and butter. We have over 200,000 devices globally that are managed and run with 330 people today that actually sit in that support desk arm. We also have interlinking feeds from a security standpoint of vulnerabilities and things that are tracked globally on trends, if it's an actual user that's touching that machine, or we think it's something else from an AR perspective. While all of that from a security standpoint changes, if you have one individual, you know, even though superheroes wear clothes, at the end of the day, that's one person to cover an entire business. They at least have hundreds of people that are monitoring different trends globally and making sure our clients have that coverage and can actually do what their business is there to do and not worry about those RT pains.
It's so compelling when you think of that level of bench strength at all areas across the business.
For the business case itself is that a lot of businesses globally deployed a lot of RT change pre and during COVID, now coming to the end of that and those refresh cycles coming up. What are businesses doing today? Is the right end user, do they have the right machine? We'll help and plan and run that with you. Do they have the right support for where the business is going and maybe how they had to change their business through COVID? Was there an uplift in business? Do they change their business offerings?
Yeah.
What does that look like? We can help with our software that we are running on each machine. What is that usage on CPU, performance, the end user? Are they using it for the same machine, same role? Did they change roles? Did the business change? Are those drivers different? And that whole piece, making sure they plan and get the maximum for their commercial wise for the business out and have that support from ourselves.
Yeah, it's a year. So we know how to do it. We know how we can make it happen on a subscription model. Will empower businesses, your business, to focus on your core activities, maximize your return on investment, and improve your user productivity, and contribute to a sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.